football, bloody hell. But they never give in. And that's the winner.
Welcome to the American Red Devils podcast. I'm John.
I'm Alex.
And we're bringing you the best Manchester United news from this side of the pond.
Woo, sir. How we doing? Manchester United 2, Tottenham Hotspur 2. United with another United 2023-2024 performance. Scored some goals, but at the other side of the pitch, completely open in the midfield. Don't know how to defend a set piece for our life. You know, Spurs were the most threatening. Probably the only times they were really threatening was from set pieces. And United, most importantly, I think the thing that's most damning for me beyond losing the lead twice at home in front of your new partial owner is the level of effort. I thought the level of effort today against Spurs was shameful. I thought it was just embarrassing. I'm going to call out certain players later. I'm going to wait, but players that are on big money, some of the top money in the league, let alone Manchester United, can't be bothered tracking back even in the 10th minute. So United in disarray. We got a big break coming up. We got 13 days until our next game in the FA Cup, fourth round, I believe, proper. And then we're back to EPL action against Wolves at the end of the month. But either way, today, I don't know what to say. This United side's a mess. Can't defend. Can't create. 2 goals on target. Two shots to target, 2 goals. But either way, I think a lot of United fans are feeling a little disillusioned by this Manchester United side. How we doing, sir?
Look, I think everyone's calling it pretty straight today. Can I just say, what a goal from Højlund. What
Beautiful.
A way to start.
Beautiful goal.
Haven't felt like that in a while. Big home match, come out, goal in the first 3 minutes. And obviously the young striker couldn't have hit it harder. I mean, what a great feeling. I was jumping out of my seat, screaming.
Scaring the kids.
Like, no, my 18-month-old daughter was, like, loving it. She was, like, just having a laugh. You know, vibes were back. This is what United's about, you know. And obviously, set-piece goal kind of ruined that. And then, you claw back the lead. And the backbreaker is how many seconds after halftime you concede? So,
55.
This team is what it is, bro. You are what your record says you are, and we are 7th place with 29 goals for, 29 against, with a -5 goal differential, 10 wins, 9 losses in the league. This is shitfootball.com. We have great players. They are great. Bruno Fernandes is great. Marcus Rashford is elite. Højlund looks a player too. Garnacho as well. We have moments of brilliance, but that's all it is. There's no system. There's no organized press. The midfield's in shambles. The manager's trying to throw the game away, bringing on McTominay and Antony. I don't know what's going on with this club. We're a counterattacking side at home to Tottenham Hotspur. This is just like... it's nice to see the goals, but, when it comes to watching football, I mean, damn, this is a brutal indictment of kind of where we stand as a club. And to say today wasn't so bad because of, watching some good goals from United could have pipped them, I think is fair given where we've been this year. But overall, the project, the performance, is underwhelming.
Underwhelming, and this has been a really tough season. This has been a tough decade plus now. We're in the 11th year of the post-Fergie slide. It doesn't look like that's stopping anytime soon based on some of the front office dealings that are happening around loan deals for the Utes who are going out in January. I think the frustrating thing today was like, that Spurs team ain't that good, bro. It's at the end of the day. But the thing is, they worked so much harder than we did. Off the ball, on the ball. They were more organized, like you said. They were more compact in the midfield. They defended as a unit. We were a fucking mess. We scored some goals.
Playing out the
largely
back.
Individual brilliance. It was less the play on the back. It was more like every time they got the ball, they just cut through our midfield like sliced cheese, and then we can't defend a set piece. We can't defend a set piece for our life. And I was thinking about this earlier as I was getting distraction, enjoying a beautiful day here. Was like, we haven't been able to defend a set piece since fucking Mourinho, bro. Like, Ole, he wasn't good at it either. They brought in this guy, Eric Ramsey, with a lot of hype. He's fucking, I don't know what he's doing because we are so bad at defending set pieces. And most of their opportunities today came from set pieces. We were bad. They were better. They weren't that much better.
That's not fair.
Most of their chances came from set pieces.
They had 11
kicks.
shots. They had 11 shots in our penalty box. The field tilt was 60% plus to them. They dominated the touches in the final third, passes in the final third, and shots in the final third. Yes, they had a lot of corners, but they had a lot of the ball. Their end product was not there. I mean, look at Timo Werner and that Johnson kid.
Werner.
Honestly, that Johnson kid was in so many dangerous areas with United. He made the wrong decision every time. Thank God. But, it's just one of those things where there's so many issues at United, and we've called it out the whole way. But the real indictment for me is what this game represents. This is clearly a battle for top four. This is who we need to beat. We're at home. We have to beat them, right? We lost away and drew Spurs. That should tell you everything you need to know about Manchester United. And that probably puts a dagger in us. 8 points behind them. They're in fifth. I mean, it is just that to me is – we're looking at probably one of the worst years we've had in the last decade, really, for Manchester United, because the engine isn't starting. I'm not seeing it just yet. And you look across the touchline, have to say it, whatever, you just got to call it like you see it. Ange Postecoglou has had 6 months with a worse group of players, and they were playing all over the park and enjoying their football. They didn't have the end product, but they had everything else, and they could play it out the back, the 1-2s, triangles, dominate the midfield, brave play at Old Trafford. And you look at the 18 months we're in, and it's counterattacking Spurs at home. It's not, maybe it's not fair, but we have better players, and we're playing way worse football.
I agree. I thought we played better when we played them away. We were a much better side. We created more. Obviously, we didn't score. But today, we were not the better team. We were the second best team. So I think a lot of it comes down to work ethic at the end of the day. Ange, I can't get his name right. I'm sorry. I apologize if he was Ange. He has players that are willing to work hard, and our players are not willing to work hard at the end of the day. I'm going to call him out. I hate to call him out, but he needs to be called out. Marcus Rashford was not good today. He scored a goal, but he did not track back. He did not show any kind of effort. You cannot press from the front if one of your three players in the front is not willing to run back. So that's disappointing because I'm a Rashford fan, but you know what? Everything in this club right now is a mess. The manager's a mess. Some of our top earners are a mess. You got to clear out the wage book this summer and basically just start over. And that's the most frustrating thing is they're not that good. We have much better players, like you said, but they played a lot harder than we did. They wanted to win a lot more than we did. And like you said, this is a battle for top four. This is a battle for our season. And they wanted it more, playing on the road. And we're playing at Old Trafford in front of Fergie, in front of Wayne Rooney, in front of Ratcliffe. The gang's all there, and United, we drew with a whimper, and we had a chance to win at the end. McSauce blasted over. We could have had some stoppage time magic, but even still, this felt about right.
No, they had the effort, but they also had the tactical understanding. What I'm focused on is the long term. Is how can Ange get them playing that way in 6 months, but Erik ten Hag can't get us playing that way with better players in 18 months. That's the yardstick at the end of the day. They played the football that we want to see at Old Trafford. Brave, playing out the back, possession based, take it to you, dominate the game. And that requires effort, and they had it in spades. But that requires a coach who's instilling it on the training pitch. And when his 5 best players are out, they're still playing that way no matter what. And it's next man up. That's what Old Trafford has to be. That is why we hired Erik ten Hag. We hired him to play that brand of football. We saw it at Ajax. We wanted it here. We saw it last year, little flashes of it. And for some reason this year it's gone sideways. It's been frustrating to watch. But, sir, the Winch Factory's open for business. It's a record. It's a record sales. Let's go. Quick PSA for the podcast. We are sponsored by thewinchfactory.com, aka
working in shifts, man.
They got us working in shifts here because when Tottenham's just simmering you, is cooking you at home. You gotta say it. So if you want to support the American Red Devils and the Muppet Take, you like the pod, check out our Patreon page, patreon.com/American Red Devils. Tons of benefits. Behind the scenes podcast every single month. Please check it out. Also check out our store, AmericanDevils.store. We got merch, hoodies, shirts, hats, beanies, stickers, scarves, everything check it out. Everything you buy, Alex personally packs himself and ships to you because that's a type of operation we got going here. And check out our website, AmericanDoubles.com. Also, like, subscribe, the socials. We're just two fans doing it for the love of the game. Sir, tell them about iTunes reviews.
Love of the game. I'll tell you what, you got to have a lot of love of the game to break down this Manchester United side. Woo! Another great way to support the pod is beyond the ways John mentioned, buying merch, joining Patreon, is writing 5-star reviews. They go a long way in helping us get found by other fans like yourself. And we're giving away free merch. All you got to do is write a 5-star review on iTunes or Spotify. Send a screenshot of that review with your mailing address to AmericanRedDevils@gmail.com. And I will personally pick, pack, and ship some free ARD gear, send it right to your door anywhere in the world. Here's a great one. 5 stars from Vad. Header do, the best and most funny analysis of Manchester United situation on and off the field. Here's the skinny. There's quite a few Manchester United podcasts, but these guys have the best banter. They pop out the fastest. And to be honest, they actually have the most sound analysis of the entire situation at Manchester United on and off the pitch. I appreciate you too. Glory, glory, Man United. Thank you, Vad. Thank you to everyone writing those reviews, sir. Let's get into some shitfootball.com.
All right, we're talking Manchester United 2, Tottenham Hotspur 2. Lads, it's Tottenham at Old Trafford in the English Premier League. Let's get into that lineup. We had Onana in net. He stayed for this one. Delo on the right, Evans, Varane, Wan-Bissaka. At left back, Christian Eriksen, Mainu in the 2, Bruno in the hole, Rashford on the left, Garnacho on the right, and Højlund up top. What'd you make of that lineup?
A big one for me was who's in midfield with Mainu and Bruno, and I was happy to see Christian Eriksen back in the mix. I thought that would be good for us today. I know, there's a vulnerability on the counter, but they would be able to get at over the top. So I was happy to see him. Too soon for Casemiro, too soon for Martinez. No sign of Luke Shaw. Not a bunch of huge shockers, but I was happy to see Eriksen in the mix. Didn't really prove to be worth it, but what did you think when you saw this 11, sir?
The Wan-Bissaka left back was a little surprising because we've seen Delo play out there, but having him stay on the right, I think, was maybe for him to link up with Garnacho. Regardless, not a bad 11. Casemiro's on the bench, Licha on the bench. That should be mentioned. I was hoping to see both of those guys coming in for 30 minutes. Obviously, we only saw one, but let's get into that first half.
It started strong, but we faded soon after. 3rd minute. The Dane, Rasmus Højlund.
And now Bruno Fernandes. And that's a great ball for Marcus Rashford. Manchester United could be in business here. Rashford still comes to Højlund, and he finds the net emphatically. On a day when a new era dawns in the stands, maybe that could be liftoff for the young Manchester United.
Sir, what a goal and finish from Rasmus Højlund. He's finally off the mark against Villa with his first goal in the EPL, and now matches with an even better goal. What a finish on his left foot. Great pass from Bruno Fernandes. We don't really appreciate how good these passes are week in, week out. Rashford being very selfish, gives the ball away, and fortunately it falls to Højlund, and he does very well to finish his left foot, beat Romero, and just smokes it. I mean, hits the ball as hard as you can hit, top netted. I love to see it. I was going nuts when this went in.
Great goal from the Dane. Exactly what the doctor ordered, and early. I mean, you saw us unlock them. They're going to play the high line. We said, could we beat the high line? We can. Can we defend a lead? I don't know.
I don't know, indeed. United did have some chances early. 8th minute, Rashford's found wide open in the edge of the box, but he slices it with a first-time shot. And then, from a corner, looking dangerous, those Spurs. 11th minute, Evans clears off the line as they were just whipping in those balls. Whoever their right back is, he had a hell of a game. And then, in the 19th minute, Spurs from a corner.
Porro. Oh, it was a great corner and a lovely glancing header by Richarlison. Maybe a sign of the new Tottenham with a bit more backbone.
Oh, Richarlison. He's going, he's trying to win the contest for the worst neck tattoo in football because that's a new one. But either way, just the defending from the corner is just embarrassing for Manchester United. So passive, back foot. We've given up this goal so many times this season. It's like if you don't step out and defend the ball, you're going to get scored.
Onana should be in the mix there, too.
It's terrible defending from the center backs. No one gets even near the ball.
No, I know, but you know what I mean. It's you jinxed us. You called him a bum in the last podcast
He is a
previewing some
bum.
Spurs, and then
He is a bum.
but like I know, but the footballing gods, they listen to the pod. You call someone out like that, they're going to score. It's just the way it works. It obviously happened. Sir, so you just got to take the L for all the.
I'm taking the L for the
It's your
collective
fault.
misery, the collective misery that is Manchester
It's
United
your
at the
fault
moment.
we're bad at set pieces
Yes,
and
it's
Richarlison
true.
scored. Let's go. 38th minute, Rashford whips a ball in for Højlund, too much juice, and then it got headed off the post, almost an own goal for Tottenham Hotspur, sir. And then obviously Manchester United, could we score? We always score.
With Evans down, Rashford, Højlund, Rashford again! That's rather more like it. And Marcus Rashford scores at Old Trafford for the first time since May.
First time since May. There you go. Marcus Rashford with a nice finish. Kind of a nice 1-2 with Rasmus Højlund. Got a little bit lucky. I think it bounced off the heel of the Spurs defender, but he finishes well, sticks it in the corner. And United get the lead again in the first half, right when you want to score, right before halftime. But, woo, shaky the other way, sir. You got a goal. Did you think we would hold off until the halftime? I didn't.
I mean, it's dude, great goal from Marcus Rashford. Goal and like I think he was credited with the assist, although I think it was the defender that got it to Højlund. Regardless, he needs a goal. Good. The celebration you got to comment on. He was kind of doing the.
What's your thoughts on that? I was going to ask about the whole chatter, the whole talkie.
What's so funny is that I'm calling balls and strikes,
Rip
right?
it. Let's do it, baby. Let's go.
I'm calling. So he did a slide, like he kind of used his hand, like, oh, people talking about me. And I'd be like, I don't think anyone cares. It's like, hey man, like you're not good enough for people to like care, like how you celebrate. I really think it's like the train has kind of left the station. Like you're kind of a bluffer. Like you kind of don't track back. You're kind of commenting on Jadon Sancho's socials. You're giving out all the vibes the wrong way, and you haven't played well. But I have seen a lot of Instagram, haircut updates, and to me, it's just like, really, like that's what it's like when Harry Maguire was playing horrible and he plugged his ears. It's just like that gives you an idea of like how delusional these guys are a little bit. And I think Rashford's like a little maybe he's insulated from it because it hasn't been a season. But I'm more just like, could we focus less on Instagram and more on like how many goals you're scoring? So as far as like the haters or whatever, I don't really. It's like I don't get it.
I tend to agree. I don't think there's a lot of chatter. But I don't care about the goals. I don't care that he's so selfish, never passes the ball, even unless.
I don't think you're proving him wrong. Drawing Spurs.
My concern is not the goals; it's the trekking back. It's like if you can't run hard and you get paid $1 million a month, I don't have a lot of sympathy for you. So Marcus Rashford is on the sell list for the summer. Good goal. I agree with you.
On your sell list.
He's on Alex's sell list. I know we're not going to sell him because we're not going to go deep enough. But anyway, let's finish off the half. Of course, Spurs had another chance, another corner, 45th minute +2. Romero slams the crossbar with a header. Same thing, back foot defending, nobody meeting him in the air, and Romero almost makes it 2-2 at halftime. So what would you be saying if you were that crazy Dutch bastard to the lads at halftime? Because whatever he said, it didn't work.
Don't concede early in the half. Let's just get into the goal.
United start the half like they're still in the dressing room. 46th minute. Good Lord.
Rolled into the path of Bentancur. 2-2 within 50 seconds of the restart.
I don't know who that guy is, but he just looks like a bum. Just bad defending. Bad defending from Delo, bad defending from Kobe Mainu, bad defending from Evans, and then could Onana have done more? Maybe. It's pretty close. But either way, this is United. This is Manchester United in a nutshell. It's like you get a goal somehow, some way at the end of the first, and then you give up a goal 55 seconds in to Tottenham Hotspur. There you go, 2-2.
There you go, 2-2. That was it. Looking at the stats, this is where you really kind of have
Oh, you got to
to.
finish the half. Is all the subs, sir. You missed the subs. You missed the big chance in the 95th minute. You're going right to it. This guy's done. 55. I'll do it. 58th minute. McSauce came out for Erickson. What'd you make of that sub, sir?
Madness.
Erickson was getting cut through, to be fair. So I wanted to see Casemiro.
Yeah, no, you don't.
I was hoping to see Casemiro.
Okay, yeah. Like, you think McTominay is you look at that bench, you look at the scoreline, and you think McTominay is the guy you got to bring on?
I
was
say
like, he's gonna bring on
Casemiro. I thought I'd bring
McTominay and
Casemiro.
Yeah, exactly. Casemiro. Yeah, 100%. Like, what is this McTominay thing? I don't get it. 62nd minute, McTominay missed. Nice chance, close. 63rd, Martinez on for Evans. Leach is back. Let's go. I mean, like, we played a lot better when after he came on. A lot better.
We did.
He came on. Big player. 88th minute, Anthony for Rashford. I mean, have a laugh. Like, the first thing he did when he came on was he gave the ball away. Like, the first thing he did was pass it right to Spurs. Like, comical stuff. And that's the difference. Like, Martinez comes on. He's like right there, aggressive challenge, nutmegging a defender, and then Anthony comes on and like literally passes
he's terrible, bro. He's terrible.
Away. 95th minute, Garnacho puts on a play for McTominay, could win it at death, could steal it, and then he blasted over. But Spurs did hit the crossbar too on another set piece header, which was close. Obviously, they could have scored on the own goal, but overall, 2-2 at home. I called the draw. I thought it would be a draw. I thought it'd be a draw where they would dominate us, but we have the quality to get these goals to make it even with Spurs, and they're missing a lot of big players on their end. Obviously, we have injuries too, but we're kind of getting healthy, and we're still seeing the signs of the shit football. You look at the stat sheet, and this is where you have to call it out. XG at home 0.6 to Spurs 1.38. X threat, we had a 1.06 to their 1.74. Possession, 63% of the ball. The field tilt, the touches in the final third, they had 62% of them in our house. They played that high line. We had nothing from an XG perspective in the second half. From an overall positioning, average position, like they had Johnson out on the right, balancing it with Werner on the right. They had Richarlison right through the middle. Højbjerg was running the show. United was so lopsided to the left-hand side of the pitch with Marcus Rashford. Eriksson and Bruno playing the 2-10s. Mainu's isolated. Garnacho's not getting the width because he's not a natural right winger. So United just sloppy all over the shop, and what that meant was that Spurs could just systematically just dominate us, and they did. And like the worst stat of them all, looking from a tactical perspective, we lost the battle in the midfield, and this was out of the work rate that you commented on when we opened the pod. Passes per defensive action, we had 18. Spurs passed the ball 18 times before we actually made a tackle or a challenge. We only passed the ball 6 times before Spurs were
3x,
all over us.
3x.
All over us. They outworked us 3x when it came to pressing. Like, we pressed, but it's like one guy running around and no one behind him, and the team, the organization, we're just an absolute mess all over the shop, and we lost the battle in the midfield. How did we lose the battle in the midfield? 538 passes on our hallowed ground, 89% pass accuracy. We only had 304. They almost doubled the amount of passes, sir. Shots on target for Spurs, 6 to our 2, 16 shots to our 9. They lacked their best attacking players. They had no teeth going forward, but they had it all. And you look at the penalty box shots, they had 11, we had 6. That's for our Devils in the data point. It could have been worse, should have been worse, and this is a bad side with a manager who's been there for 6 months, and he's got them balling out. They didn't have it. They didn't have the attack. I'm telling you, that Johnson kid, if he could put a cross in or make the right pass or make the right decision, they could have had more.
They had Timo Werner on the left wing.
They had
Timo one shot he had where he blasted.
But they were like the way, like you could just see like Højbjerg turn and then the
midfield
ball
was
out,
wide open.
Like,
it was always wide
Pedro
open.
Porro, like here's your point about Marcus Rashford. Pedro Porro is the right back. Marcus Rashford should track those runs. He lets them go. And then it was like, who's going to defend him?
He was nowhere. He was nowhere.
It was like literally, it was so wide open. And the passes that they were going like switch and play, cutting us through the middle. And it's just like, it was like the 1-2s playing out the back, and then just like unlocking us. And thank God Johnson and Werner were just like absolute garbage today, because it could have been much worse. But you see what he's trying to do. That's the argument I have, is you look on the other touchline, you see some players, and you see what they're trying to do, and I have no idea what the hell this shit football is that we're playing. 2-10s, no tracking back, absolute mess, can't defend the lead for the life of us, and we're like literally playing counter Spurs at home. That is, dude, like, what are we doing? We're Manchester United, mate.
I have no problem playing counter. I mean, this is not Man City. This is not Liverpool.
Not Spurs.
This is
dude.
Not Arsenal.
Not Spurs.
Spurs. It doesn't matter if you play better than them and score and win. We played like shit. We didn't show any cohesion as a team. No organization. We didn't track back. That is unforgivable. So at the end of the day, Erik ten Hag, he's going to get fired in the next 6 months. He'll get fired by the end of the season. The problems remain, because if you have players that are getting paid $1 million a month and they can't run, then you are fucked, and you're not going to win diddly shit, because Pedro Porro was their best player, because every time he went forward, there was no one from our attack going back and tracking him.
But that's been the whole year. Well, it's not like one game. You know, I agree. The players are just like not like. I believe that the players like. You saw it in the game. There were like all of a sudden we just like wake up and we look really good and almost score.
If like 20
and it's like
minutes.
Yeah, because we have that ability, but like there's no system. It's a collection of individuals. Yes, and I agree. Marcus Rashford is bluffing. A lot of players are bluffing, but like you look at what I'm like. At the end of the day, it's a results-based business. The manager's in charge of this team, and if you're not moving forward, you're going back, and we're going back, and that's what I like. Last year we were moving forward. Slight regression towards the end of the year, but you saw the style of play we were trying to do. This style of play has been the same since we played Wolves opening day. We have not changed. People are getting healthy. We're still playing the same way. And there's something going on. I think I blame it on something going on behind the scenes. I speculate, you can give me the X-Files music, is that the Sancho thing made Marcus Rashford go bad, made a lot of things go bad at Manchester United. And I don't know why or who or whatever. I don't care about that stuff. But something's going on with this team, because when Varane and Rashford and Sancho, and then like there's a rain cloud over this club right now, and it's just got to go. And this is just it's joyless to watch.
That's it.
Joyless to watch. This shit Spurs team.
That's the word.
Shit Spurs
Joyless.
team. You score a great goal and you concede on a corner.
Like a terrible goal. The fucking Richarlison and that neck tattoo, bro.
Exactly.
Like
and it's just like, and then you get the lead
again,
and then you.
Like,
and then, like, what do you
goal
do?
ever. They just walk right through us.
And no. It's come out at halftime. You come out at halftime, and you don't even last, like, a minute. And it's just like, get out of here. The fans know.
Bro, they won't even finish. This Spurs side is not that good. They just work hard. They're not going to finish in the top 4. They're not going to finish above Villa, above Arsenal. But they played us off the park today, and XG was close, pretty close.
That's embarrassing, dude.
No, we're just
embarrassing. It's embarrassing. That today was it.
Here's the thing that's going to be interesting: when Leach is back, when Casemiro's back, are we still as bad in a month from now? And if we are, then you gotta whack the Dutchman. But now,
Leach was on the park.
I know,
today.
but he just came back from 5 months out, so it's like you're not going to start him.
No, I'll tell you, the excuse factor, the injury crutch is going. But like, here's the thing: Spurs had more people out. They had more key players out on their team than we do. And it's like, and they cooked us, dude. Like, when you look at these numbers, it's just like, holy crap. And by the way, it's just like, this is Manchester United at home against Tottenham. And this is Arsenal, totally get it. City, totally get it. Like Liverpool. All right. Like, okay. Tottenham is a bar we should not be going under. And we're lost away and drew at home while they dominated. It's like, come on, we have to be like, at what point are we going to be like raising our arms in the air when we're 9th in the league? Like, and Tottenham's like just having a day out at Old Trafford.
There you go. Should we go to the Sky Lounge, or do you want to hear what the bald guy's got to say? You want to look at the table? What do you want? What do you want from me? I'm not defending these teams. I'm not defending these players.
Let's go to the manager. I think he said we played really well.
Yeah, I'm sure he did.
I think we scored some of 2 great goals. We conceded 2 very soft goals. And so, especially we have all the time a threat on set plays. we should defend set plays better. And the second goal, as I say, from a goal kick, we should have been quicker in the organization and also stop that diagonal and do better recovery. So from the whistle on, it's the equalizer. So yeah, that is that's no good. But I have seen some good spells. I like the 2 goals, but also created some other chances. I think that was well played. So that pleased me the most. But yeah, then you are slightly disappointed when you get away with this result. Yeah.
Sir, I defend him more than most, but I'm good. It's like I defend him more than most United fans you'll meet. But it's, scored 2 good goals, gave up 2 shit goals, and we don't defend him well enough from set pieces, but he's the coach, so I don't know. Fire somebody, hire somebody, get somebody in, because we have been dreadful.
Oh.
Even last year when we were 3rd, we weren't that good from set pieces. We couldn't score, and we'd still be vulnerable. We're worse in both areas this season. But this has been an ever constant issue beyond the effort, beyond the tactics, beyond the injuries, beyond the lack of goals. It's why are we still so fucking bad from set pieces?
Coaching. That's it. It comes down to the coach. And then guess what? It comes down to the set piece coach who's hired by the manager, works for him, and then ultimately the responsibility is on the head coach. I'm watching the Cowboys right now get cooked by Green Bay 27-0. And guess what? The coach of the Cowboys is going to be fired because they're playing so bad, right? That's how it works. It's you're a coach of a great team plays like shit, you're gone. That's just
we ain't a great team, bro. Because look at these attacking
No, but
ranks.
I'm saying when it comes to franchise, Manchester United is a good franchise, should be winning, should be beating Spurs. You get in trouble, right? That's just how it is. Sir, give me the Sky Sports debate. I thought this was you and me, passionate fans. This is pod therapy here, sir. But you have the Spurs coming to your house and do you like that? There's gonna be extra spice on this pod.
I thought they were very.
They argued about the same thing in the Sky Sports Lounge.
Let's let them talk it out. Let's let them do our job for us. Here we go.
Very good. The 5 probably best players, or 5 of the best players missing. I think if they've had them in the team, I think they won the game. And the style of play still comes through when they've got players missing. They were the better team. They dominated the whole of the second half. I think they had difficult moments, obviously, against Rashford and Højlund and on the counter-attack at times, which most teams do against United. But in terms of being superior, they were far superior in the game.
Does that matter? We've talked about this before here, particularly. Moments versus style of play.
I think in the bigger picture, yeah, but I think where this team is at the moment for United, it's just about trying to get a couple of results together, get some momentum back into the season. So I wouldn't be sitting here overly critical even of United today. I didn't expect them to control the game. I thought Spurs would come and have a go. Spurs are in a good place. So for me at the moment, United seem like it's just about survival. Listen, they've lost already 9 league games. They're not scoring many goals. So today, what you saw from United, they managed to score 2 goals. They're attacking players. They could have won it at the end. Short term, that will do me. Yeah, in the bigger picture, you want your first team to have a style of play, obviously, and we hear patterns of play and all this type of thing. But for this group of players at this moment in time, it's just about hanging in there and survival and trying to get a couple of wins under the belt just to get a bit of belief and some momentum into the season. They've not managed to do that all season.
I was surprised to see Skip, Højbjerg and Bentancur dominating the midfield, though, when you think the players that are out in that area, not used to playing with each other. The only one I would say probably going forward that you'd have wanted a little bit more was Brennan Johnson, because Sydney was one that's normally been playing. Maybe the fact that Wan-Bissaka went out and played against him, little tactical tweak by Ten Hag. We thought he might end up playing right back because he realised because of his pace he could go man for man on him. But he was the only one I wanted just a bit more from. Werner did OK, and that's what you're going to get from Werner. You're going to get flashes of brilliance, and then you're also going to get a bit of disappointment. But from Spurs' point of view, I thought they were.
But you've got to be careful.
Listen,
we're giving Spurs loads of credit. Spurs are having a very good season, a lot of injury problems. Spurs with this, Spurs with that. They drew the game. They didn't come and win at Old Trafford. It was a draw.
A lot of players out there, Roy, aren't they?
Man United missing some. It's amazing when we do a TV game. We end up speaking for about an hour about players who aren't here. It's about the players who are out there. That's if you want to be a big club, you have to deal with setbacks.
But were not Spurs the better team today?
They were the better team, yeah. But we can't sit here and then go overboard on Spurs and say Spurs are outstanding. We heard it from the manager. He's obviously going to praise his players. The staff got praised. The coaching, the bus driver got praised. Everyone's getting praised. Listen, it was against a poor Man United team on a difficult place. And it was 2-2. Everyone relax.
What's your take on that?
He's the most reasonable person. I think he's the most reasonable pundit in England. And you know what? He's a vice foreman of the excuse factory, because he's like, everyone's got to relax. He's like, Spurs drew against a poor United side, and that's that. We're in a bad place. We're in a very bad place. It's simple as that. United's playing bad football. We're desperate for a result. We're desperate for some good performances. Fuck the results, and we're not getting them. But Roy Keane, how many times have we seen the Sky Sports Lounge just talking about like how bad United's been over the last decade? It's like I feel like I'm in deja vu.
All you saw there
over
was he can't give Spurs flowers, bro. That's all you saw.
Well, he's right. The thing is, he's right, bro. He plays it right down the middle. He's right. I mean, he is right. It's like they drew. they drew.
No, they did draw, but they they were the better team.
Yes,
and guess what? It's a results-based game, and draw's a draw. But he doesn't want to give Spurs any credit,
as he should. They're a nothing club, bro.
Of course, because he's like, of course they are, but they're but unfortunately they're in a better direction right now than we are, and that's on the back of like selling their best player and hiring a guy 6 months ago, which is like that's kind of a surprise. That's a surprise. Obviously, we did. It's a surprise we're this shit too, right? It's a surprise they're enjoying their football. Let's check out the table. What does it mean for Manchester United? Again, I commented on it earlier. United with 32 points, played 21. This is important. We're in 7th. Right behind us, Brighton at 31 points. They played 20. They have the game in hand. Chelsea 1 point behind us in 9th. Newcastle in 10th at 29 points. Why am I quoting the people below us in the table? It's because they are right on our heels. And it is very close down here, and it could be very easily headed down. West Ham, 6th with 34 points. They have a game in hand. Tottenham, 40 points. Arsenal, 40 points with a game in hand. Villa, 43. City, 43 with a game in hand. And the Scouse Bastards, 45 with a game in hand. The real issue here, Tottenham 8 points ahead of us in the league. That, to me, is the real rub. We've lost in our last 5, lost 2, drawn 2, 1-1 in the league.
Not good enough. Not good enough. In City, what a win they had yesterday. De Bruyne back. It's their league to win.
Bet everything you got on them to win the title.
It's their league to win.
Everything you got. Everything you got.
No way. City's got it.
No,
wait till the freak comes back. Wait till the fucking Holland, dunk City. Just back post dunk. So whatever.
Yeah.
United's a mess. Yeah,
we are. But this is a United podcast. Keeping with the mess, we have our attacking rankings coming into this game. 22 goals is 18th in the Premier League. That is just atrocious. Our performance on XG, negative 7.3, 19th in the league. Shot conversion, 7.8%, worst in the league.
Jesus.
Big chance conversion, 19th in the league. First half goals, 19th in the league. First half home goals, 20th in the league. Obviously, we changed our fortune today with 2 first half goals at home. But the real difference was we were shit away last year, great at home. This year, shit everywhere.
We're just shit, bro. We're just shit.
So you're Jim Ratcliffe, you're sitting in the stands with Sir Alex Ferguson, you're watching that game. What are you thinking, sir? What's going through your mind watching this game with this team against Tottenham? He knows this team. He's a fan. What do you think he's
thinking? I overpaid for my 25% of this club, given how much of a fucking mess No, I think he's thinking this place is a fucking mess. And trust me, he's in Old Trafford. Old Trafford's a fucking mess. Love my seat. Love sitting in the Stretford End, but that stadium, unfortunately...
He's probably in a nice seat.
Yes, he is.
To be fair.
But when you walk in, you could see the guts hanging out of our old, beautiful stadium, and it looks like
I know.
Dump.
He's not with, the mob. But,
I understand
there is
that.
a nice
But
entrance with
even,
an elevator.
But even when you walk in the backside, with where the players go, it looks like shit, bro. It's like the stadium is a disaster. It's going to have to be torn down because they've let it just, go wayside. So I think he's thinking, this is a mess. This season's a write-off. Next season will be a write-off. And then maybe by 26, we start clawing our way back. And I think he's just trying to say, who's going to stay? You leave Eric Ten Hag, I think, till the spring. You find a replacement in the spring because that's when, the good guys start to come out, right? Let a Bayern get fucking, gun-shy and chop Tuchel because he doesn't win the Champions League. You pick him up. You don't pick up Graham Potter. You pick up Tuchel because he's going to be the difference maker in terms of getting this team going forward. And I think you're just like, dude, you're taking it one thing at a time. Right now,
I don't think he's waiting on that. I think right now
it'd be foolish to bring in Graham Potter.
It'd
be foolish.
No, of course, no, I'm not. So again, nobody's saying like Graham Potter. I'm saying I think he'd be foolish to not be working on that. Who's the next? I think he's looking at that, and I'm sure even before this game, they're already looking for the next manager of Manchester United. They don't know who it is, but they're probably thinking about it. That's probably I think like Ten Hag. It's like I think if the takeover didn't happen, I think he would survive. I think the takeover just makes it like Ratcliffe wants to put his stamp on it. He wants to put. It's also politics, right? You look at the NFL, you look at coaches and how it works. It's like if you get rid of Ten Hag at the end of the year, it's just like you get a clean slate.
Yeah, you start over. And then you blame him for everything. You blame him for everything. Anthony, Sancho, they're all his fault, even if it's not true.
It's politics.
No, it's true.
Politics. It's politics.
And they like their guys. They want their own guys, like you said. There's a reason Bully came in and started being like, I'm doing this.
And I just read you those stats, and they are really bad. And we are playing very bad. And like there's a lot of blame to go around, but I don't think you can't absolve Erik ten Hag of blame. You can't absolve the players of blame. You can't absolve the front office of blame. And it's just this is going to be what I think is could be a record-breaking bad season for Manchester United as far as how many losses we have in the league and where we finish. We're at 9 losses, the worst tally of losses we've had in the Premier League since Sir Alex Ferguson retired was 12 that we matched with David Moyes. And in 21-22, when we finished 6th place, we have 9. We have 17 games to play.
Well, it's going to be worse.
Who cares? We have 17 games. But that is when you get to the record break. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like in order to get to 12 losses, you have to go to 89-90.
Okay, well,
right?
how did we go from finishing 3rd to being in this poor of a team? Like, what happened? Was the De Gea push out? Was it the Sancho mess?
I think the De Gea push out didn't help.
Stupid summer. There's a lot. It's never one thing. It's always a confluence of things.
I don't think the De Gea push out. I honestly think that you can look at us getting out of Europe and saying the De Gea push out didn't help. I think you can look at Onana to date and be like, that was a wrong move. From that money should have been invested elsewhere.
How it was handled too.
Yeah, how it's handled, like that to me is like the worst of. You want to talk about dressing room issues? De Gea arguably should have been the captain. Like I actually think De Gea was like.
I wouldn't go that far.
If you think about David De Gea, and you have to say, he was there the longest. He won the league. He also faced the music when it was the hardest. His post-game interviews were very frank. Like I remember post Newcastle, he was always a leader out in front with the press, saying the tough things. I just kind of felt like everyone probably looked up to him, and the way he got rug pulled on his deal, that couldn't have helped. And and obviously it hasn't helped. And here we are. Here we are in this glorious 2023-2024 season that, who knows where we will end up. Top 10, what do you say?
Do we finish in the top half of the table?
Yep.
Yeah, I think so. I think we finished like 7th, but whatever. This team, the season's a write-off. It is, dude. It's like I love Manchester United.
I'm looking at the table. Look at the table. Like I'm telling you, Brighton, Chelsea, Brighton are in 8th.
I don't think we can play much worse than we played.
Newcastle in 10th. Newcastle in 10th.
No one's talking about Eddie Howe and his job. They lost 4 in a row. Here's the thing. We're going to have better players back for the second half of the season. You're going to have Leisha. You're going to have Casemiro. You're going to have Mason Mount. Maybe we'll talk about the news in a second. I'm going to play that song in a minute. But like, you'd hope to think our second half of the season's better than the first. And if it's not, then the manager deserves to be fired, bro. And then like United, we're in a mess. But I think right now Ratcliffe's coming in. He's like I got to get wages off the books. I got to get rid of Varane. I got to get rid of Casemiro. I got to get rid of Marcus Rashford. And that's what I would do. I'd be like, let's get the glut out. Let's start over with a new manager. Front office needs to be completely wiped. And let's just start building back and like focusing on the simple things. Like, hey, how do we make sure our wage budget doesn't exceed Man City, who won the treble? Like that's a priority. Let's get the wages down so we can like reinvest elsewhere. Because right now, I'm sorry, I don't mean to pick on him. I have a kit of his. He's one of my favorite.
What's going on? Like, yeah, he went downhill after he got the kit. You jinxed him.
I got the kit like 4 years ago, bro. So that's to say, like he's been downhill since then. Maybe.
I don't think it was 4 years.
It was like
you bought the kit.
It was a Chevy.
Like last year.
It was a Chevy one, and it was during Ole, so it was a while ago. It was blue.
So I
don't buy players kits anymore.
How's it going? How's it going?
Who's done well? at this club? Who's done well?
Mason Mount.
No, he hasn't. He missed fucking 5 months. Let's get in the
Well, he
news.
hasn't done
not well. That's some fucking.
He's the only person that doesn't have any.
Because he hasn't played.
Mason Mount.
He hasn't played.
But, hey,
that's like saying Tyrell. What'd you say?
I stand by it. Let's get into the news. United in the news.
Save me. What do you got for me, sir?
Ratcliffe speaks to the press. He expects the deal to be closed by mid-Feb. That would be on the early side, like we said. I think the filing said April, June at the latest. He wouldn't be drawn into specifics, right? He's just saying, hey, I'm here for the match. I'm very excited. And his first impressions of Carrington Old Trafford in recent weeks, if he said it's not appropriate to answer. So,
I mean, that is fucking damning. That is damning.
Of course.
Like world-class facility. You could just, the fact that he didn't say anything means it's a fucking mess. A fucking mess. Old Trafford's, I mean, you don't believe it. Until we started going every year because we have season tickets, you're like, Jesus, this is the most valuable sports team in the entire world. Maybe not the most valuable because the NFL teams, but the most famous club, one of the most famous teams in the entire world. And it's like, not appropriate to answer that, John.
Yeah, but the stadium is like that's just like a money making machine. Like I don't care. I like Old Trafford the way it is. Like they tear it down, it's kind of like old Yankee Stadium, new Yankee Stadium. It's like the magic is kind of you lose a little bit of the magic for the shine.
Old Yankee Stadium wasn't this much of a mess.
Trust me, I would much prefer that the Yankees play better. Right.
Yes.
I'd much prefer United play better than the condition of the stadium. Right. And obviously they should have a world-class training facility to recruit players like that. That to me is like your training facility is just recruitment. Old Trafford is like you go into it. It's still amazing. Like the outside sucks. The inside is great. Like once you get to your seat.
The seats are great. The concourses are a dump.
Yeah, no, of course. But like, I don't care about that. I'd rather see good. You and me are never like, oh, I need
but it speaks.
I need I need to be able to get like a chicken wrap, or something. I don't need
Guinness,
that. Like, I don't need that. I just need.
I take a Guinness over a Carling.
Yeah, of course. But like, hey, look, we went to Arsenal. We did Arsenal Club Lounge. Amazing facility, beautiful, like TVs, like great food. They haven't won the league. What's more important, right? It's like I want to win the league. Like that's it. So the stadium it gets a lot of like hubbub, but the training facility is the one, so you can get good players in. And then Newcastle said they're confident Dan Ashworth will stay, despite interest from Sir Jim. This is the news. As we heard some hummings, now it's a little quiet. Ashworth, will he come? Will he stay? This is the first test for me, for Jim Ratcliffe. Like, who are you, son? Can you go get your man?
It's the most important signing we make, probably trailing next 3 years. And this is it. It's like, fuck the manager. This guy's going to pick the manager. That's the whole point. You bring him in because he knows how to diagnose a mess. He knows how to fix a mess. He knows how to build an elite sporting structure. And not to say there aren't other individuals, but like I think in the English game, he's one of the best in the game. And like pseudo available. I know he's at Newcastle, but like he's not at Newcastle are not a top club. They're not like an elite franchise. They're not even an Arsenal. They're like fucking Newcastle. They haven't won anything since 1955. They have Saudi backers and they spend a lot of money and they got Dan Ashworth, so that's more than we have. But
sir, you know that saying all these things is only going to last so long.
Sir, I'm not worried about Newcastle United. I'm worried about Manchester United. It's like all of our
the league is getting so much more competitive.
I know it is.
I'm going to highlight that for you. So like you just saying these clubs are nobody and they don't win nothing. Well, we're like slowly moving down the list. Like I understand, but it's like
multiple things can be true at the same time. We could be a mess, but we're still Manchester United. And I'm not saying like just because we have great history means we're a great club in the moment. It's like no, this team's a mess, but still like. Objectively, you'd rather be the head of the main dog at Manchester United than Newcastle United. You would, even
Newcastle
if
United.
They're below us in the table too, and we're terrible.
Yes, I agree.
I mean that's something.
Yeah. That is something. They played much. Like, I watched the City Newcastle game, and they looked pretty good. You know, they looked like they're playing better football than we've played this season. And I much prefer to play better football and be below us in the table, right? And play shit football and be seventh. Like, I'm not holding on to that. I'm not holding that over anybody. We're bad. And you know, make fun of Newcastle all you want, bro. They're coming, and they're coming for that top four spot that we occupy. Next bit of news here: Hannibal to Sevilla. This one's confirmed. 20 million euro. There is a buy clause, though. That's the kind of hook here. He's on loan to Sevilla. That's no big deal, but they can buy him for 20 million euros, which is fairly cheap. And then United has no buyback clause. Who's running the show? Murtaugh's still there. He's still screwing us. Hannibal, great prospect. Why would we include a buy clause? I think he's one of the brighter spots for United's youth.
I agree. John, I agree wholeheartedly. I think he's I was hoping he'd be the next guy. You know, we had Garnacho. Now we have Kobe. I was hoping Hannibal would be your next number 8 who can kind of fit in and play in most positions in the midfield, because he's a dog. He's going to grow more physical and be bigger in size. He's got good feet. He's a dog. We need that kind of dog personality. And I said this in our hot take, Sevilla is a one-way road to nowhere. That club is a mess. They're more big a mess than we. I mean, Sevilla's a lovely town, great place to be. Everton we're also in from. You'd certainly rather, from a player perspective, be in Sevilla than fucking Liverpool. But I don't see this making sense. The one thing that gives me hope is Sevilla are so broke that they don't even probably have 20 million euros, even if he kills it. But
no, yeah, that's what I
want to loan him in England.
I
he should be playing in Everton because Sevilla's every time we loan a player to Sevilla, it never works out. It's we did it with Martial, we did it with Telles. It's
Well, the Martial loan wasn't we're trying to, get a youth player developed. But I don't think it's as bad as you say, but an Everton loan would have been so much better.
Right.
And who knows what it came down to at the end of the day. Most likely money. And speaking of money, Fabrizio Romano also tweeting out Alvaro Fernandez will undergo a medical test to go to Benfica on Monday. And there's a buy option with that loan. So what are we seeing now? All of a sudden, buy options. We need to sell players, make money. That is what we're trying to do. It's a liquidation event. And I think you're starting to see these buy options sprinkled in, where if there were youth players like Fernandez, who we rate, there should not be a buy option. But there is, because, hey, you want anyone, we'll sell anyone. And I think that's getting to your point around, giving Marcus Rashford some heat. Although that is just one, for me, that the whole hating on Rashford thing, it's I don't really need to do it, because I think we just all know what that situation is, right? I don't need to go. Anthony's more Rashford's a player. There's a player in Marcus Rashford. Now, I would give Marcus Rashford another shot. As much as that pains people, it's the wages. I think something happened with Sancho and him, and clearly he and Ten Hag don't see eye to eye, and that is not the first time a big player feels that way. He is a bluffer, has done it before, but his bluffing friends are gone, and I'd probably save him for the next manager and just give him a shot, right? And if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. But that is no one's going to take those wages, dude. You can't
they'll take
lose money on Sancho.
They'll take his wages before they'll take Jadon Sancho's wages, because he's a better player than Jadon Sancho.
But he's a player. Marcus Rashford.
No, he's a player. Anthony's a bum. We all agree. Anthony's awful. That's the whole point.
That's what I'm trying to say. He's a player.
Anthony's a nobody who we paid 3x his value, and you know what? Shame on us. Marcus Rashford is from the academy. He's supposed to be the next golden boy.
He should be playing on the wing,
but he clearly has attitude problems, right? You saw it under Rangnick. Rangnick wouldn't play him. He was playing Alonga over him. And that's probably because he won't track back. So I agree. He will outlive this manager. But if we were going to do full clear out, is you whack off every earner above Bruno Fernandes and you get rid of all of them. And that would include Marcus Rashford. On the Alvaro Fernandez one, I'll tell you what. You want to know why this is bad for Manchester United? Look at the club he's going to. This is not fucking Sevilla, bro. This is not Everton. Benfica are one of the best buyers in Europe. If they're going after the player, that means the player's legit. I think he's the real deal. I know we signed Malacia. It's an open question there, but like I think Alvaro Fernandez will get better and better as he kind of puts on some size, because I've seen him play quite a bit in the youth side. I mean, he looks it. So I'm a little disappointed about this one, especially because Benfica know what they're doing, bro. They're an astute buyer, one of the top 3 in Europe in terms of those feeder clubs that like buy at 20 and then sell for 100.
Exactly. Now there's some rumblings about the Rangnick hire here that were in the press the last week. You want to run through this article?
I won't go focus on too much. We know it was a mess. We know the team's a mess. We talked about Manchester United, Old Trafford, but basically Jesse March, shout out American Red Devils, didn't do great at Leeds, but he was talking to Ralph Rangnick after Ralph Rangnick left and just said the cohesion doesn't exist. Nothing. There's no talking between the front office, between the scouting teams, between the data teams, between the recruitment side, and everything is just a fucking circus. And you know what? If you've been watching this team and you've been talking about this team as much as you and I have, that's not a real big surprise, because everything we know is like, you know, when you hire unqualified people to do a job and then don't hold them accountable, this is what you get.
No, and to that point, Gary Neville spoke to it, that Rangnick was hired by the Glazers, or, you know, Arnold, to come in and be the director of football. That was the idea the entire time.
Yep.
Like he was gonna be the coach, evaluate the talent over that half of the season, and then move upstairs and be the director of football and take the reins. And then when he started going and saying, this is horrible, we gotta throw everyone out,
Open heart surgery.
they freaked out, and that's when they terminated the relationship. I'm really interested to see how that transition went, because that was a weird one. That was a weird one where, like, Rangnick, it was like we were kind of like this Rangnick malaise. He came in, it was a mess. Players didn't show up at the Crystal Palace game. It was very bizarre. And then all of a sudden Ten Hag was there and Rangnick was like shuttered out the back door. I always thought that was a weird one. Weird transition. And we kind of just went for the win now type of signings with Erik Ten Hag, which was the opposite of open heart surgery or like a rebuild. I think Erik Ten Hag should have gotten the open heart surgery rebuild. I think that's what we should have done with him. But unfortunately, United just screwed the pooch, and here we are. And speaking of just funny things, Jadon Sancho got an assist in his first game at Dortmund. Obviously looks out of shape.
He does look out of shape, we must say.
I watched it. He didn't look horrible. Obviously, it's Bundesliga.
They're playing the worst team in the Bundesliga. They're playing like the 19th place team.
No, I know you like hate this guy, and you're just going to say every point against him.
Easy to hate
but
him.
Again,
he's very unlikable.
I'm going to say that, you know, when you have a young player making this type of money, and you come in and you know, like there were clearly issues with him, but here's the deal: he's making 70. Manchester United owe him like 50 million, so it's like they owe him more than Erik Ten Hag, and
yes,
there's like an ego thing here, and you know, you got to like a manager.
Okay, kissing the badge. He kissed the badge. First thing he does. You used to slate Delo when he celebrated the AC Milan goal. What do you think about this?
He's not a United player.
He's on loan. We still own his contract.
Of course, but we're going to sell him. It's like, I want him to play well so we can sell him. Yes.
Well, there you go.
Yes, but I think that when this all comes out, and this is reading the tea leaves, he's boys with Marcus Rashford, and he went to war with Jadon Sancho, and he went to Erik Ten Hag before the season, rug pulled De Gea, went to war with Sancho. Like, something happened right when we came back from preseason.
He didn't go to war with Sancho. I'm going to call this straight. It's like he said one thing after the Arsenal game, and then Sancho actually went to war with
it was
Erik Ten Hag.
Behind the scenes.
He tweeted right after the press conference.
No, it's not. I'm not like, you're trying to focus on one point in time, and I'm focusing on like, clearly there was a while to get to that point. It's like, clearly the manager was like trying to get him, you know, to like listen or whatever, and he wasn't. And all of a sudden, this fallout with Jadon Sancho happens, and then Rashford's no good. And then the come full circle. Like, I mean, you got to read the tea leaves. Come full circle. Sancho goes to Dortmund, and the first person commenting on his Instagram is Marcus Rashford. Right?
Not great.
Marcus Rashford should not be doing that.
No, he shouldn't.
Because he should be being loyal to the club, and by supporting Sancho's gone rogue is like clearly that means that when Sancho like that definitely messed up. You don't think that the Sancho fallout had consequences with Rashford? He's posting on Sancho's thing. It's like a little like it speaks to me like there's more to it than meets the eye, and I don't know who's wrong or who's right. You know, I'm assuming Sancho's in the wrong. I don't know why Rashford's involved in it or why it affected his play, but something happened there. Like something happened right when we got back from preseason, and the dressing room was kind of split. That's my feeling.
It's a mess. It's a proper mess. I agree. You know, and on most things,
right or wrong,
throw the ball fraud in front of a bus. But like, I have never seen
I'm not throwing him in front of the bus.
Just let me finish this. If I've never seen a manager once give a player 3 months off to get in shape when he's 22 years old. That's all I'll say about that.
We
never.
don't know this, but like
he gave him 3 months off.
I'm also going to say we don't know the whole story. So like,
sure.
This is okay. I agree. Jadon Sancho was like clearly has issues, right? Just like Paul Pogba had issues, like showing up, playing basketball. Like we know what the deal. Like when he was injured and playing basketball in the United States, while we're like fighting for
the
our
Europa
lives.
League.
But what I'm trying to say is, like, it's not like he fell out with just Sancho and it only affected Sancho. It was like Varane was on the rocks. Rashford was on it was like a lot of the locker room, right? So like I think something happened where some players were like peeved or the manager came down hard on them after they like didn't start the season well, and Sancho was like stood up to him, and then like, you know, some big bust up happened. And yeah, clearly Sancho's not the player, but I'm just saying like something affected the locker room, right? Right or wrong, it was affected. Right or wrong, like Ten Hag, hey, I'm a hard-nosed Dutchman, and if that blows a hole in the locker room, it blows a hole in the locker room. The team doesn't play well. It's just like that's right or wrong. I don't care who's right or wrong. I'm just saying like something affected the dynamics of Manchester United to make this season as bad as it is. And I don't want Sancho to play for United ever again. I do not think he is a United player. I don't want him anywhere near us. It was a horrible signing, and I'm just trying to comment on like something happened, and we're not playing great as a result.
I agree, because you know what? It'd be one thing if we finished 8th last season, and there's just continuation of shit football, but the drop down's been so severe. Yes, injuries are a thing, but there's also like we tried harder last year, and now like they've definitely there's a faction that's almost certainly given up on the manager even before the season started, and you're probably not wrong between the De Gea and Sancho crybaby and, you know, yada yada.
But you know, it's like Sancho lobbying Rashford. Like,
I know they're
like, hey man, this guy's so messed up and this and that, and like, you know that there's so much more going on, like Gossip Girl type of crap. And when that's going around the locker room, how are you going to focus on winning week in, week out? And it just becomes a situation. And like, so good riddance, Jadon Sancho. I actually thought Ten Hag did a good job of dressing in the press, being like, hey, we're over this, like moving on.
Wish him luck.
Wish him the best.
Yeah, wished him luck. That was good.
Yeah, as you should. And I hope he plays well so someone else buys him, right? And so I think that's a good lead-in for the proper Muppet take. The fan questions here. At Gordon Frederick, quote, this team lacks leadership. The set-piece defending, the second-half goal are clear examples. I loved early OGS. And that was a poor man's version of his game plan. Open heart surgery. Let's do it. At Rugby Teacher, is Ten Hag ball counterattacking only? It seems that that's what we are looking at. Does he have another style? Saw glimpses of it last year. What do you make? Is he Ole ball or like we didn't see that at Ajax, right?
I mean, we've seen it. I've seen him play. Build up in the back and create good chances even in moments this season. So I think if this had worked today and we had played harder and played more complete, that would have been fine. It's just like, we're a mess, bro. It's like, even when we try to do something different, it's a disaster. So I don't really buy the whole like style of play thing. I think there's been a style of play over the last 18 months, just like it hasn't been consistent and the team hasn't played well enough. And that's it. You know, the pundits love to talk about style of play.
No, I mean, the style of play is in the stats. It's like 2 10s, one holding midfielder, right, and an open mid. Like that's like.
But we didn't play 2 10s. Like, you know, we played
We play 2 10s.
Eriksson played as
and
an
Bruno.
8. He plays an 8 though. You know, technically.
Positionally, he's playing as a 10.
Well, how did it work last year? We had
That's-
Casemiro, the
that's a
best
system, dude.
probably the best.
Like to say like there's no system. Like the system we're playing is that.
Yeah, but
That's
we
what
didn't
we're
just
playing.
play counterattack football last year. We built out of the back all the time last season.
And we haven't this season.
No, we haven't. That's why we've been terrible.
Well, like that's what everyone said we can't play out the back with De Gea, and we got rid of him, and now we don't play out the back. It's like it doesn't like we have been all over the shop with like how we show up and play.
Maybe Casemiro will have an impact because he was a big 6. It's hard to play with a lone 6 in the EPL, especially as Kobe Mainu, who's been a hell of a player, but he's only 18. Casemiro is like probably a generational CDM.
He used to be able to make the adjustment. We haven't seen that.
He did.
We have not seen him make the adjustment, and then subs do not help. Right. And last season, those two things, he make the adjustment and the subs helped us win games. And it has not this season. To me, I saw the play last season. I don't see it this season. Like that's, and we see different things. That's fine. At Chansey Powell, going forward, could this game be considered more of an evaluation game for the inevitable next rebuild? I think we're in the rebuild. I think everyone's auditioning for their jobs. Basically, that's
Agreed.
That's what
Agreed.
I think.
I think Ratcliffe's seeing that performance, and it's like, forget Ten Hag. He's like, whoever the set piece coach is, fire his ass. Send his ass back to League One, bro.
At Yoni Boy, sirs, we cannot defend a lead. We crumble just like a cookie being put in a glass of milk. What do you guys think we need to do to fix our defending? Well, Licha might help.
Casemiro, Licha, Shaw, those 3 would help, you would think. But if you don't have players track back when you do a high press, and you let the cutback city all day, every day in the midfield, you're going to concede goals even with Licha. So it's both. But I think Licha and Casemiro, in a month from now, if those guys are still back and not injured, and we're still playing like this, then I'm really worried. I'm worried, but let's get those 2 guys back, and maybe there'll be an upturn. I'm just trying to be hopeful a little bit.
At rhammer7, quote, anyone else think the problem lies with our captain, body language, attitude, and lack of leadership on the field? Youngsters need positive leadership, not constant whinging. Glad to see Martinez back, but same old United. What do you make of that, sir?
I mean, I'll be open. I'm a bit of a Bruno apologist. He's my favorite player on the team, but I think he works harder than anyone else on this team. I mean, he's a whinger. It's true. But he's the best player on Manchester United by a fucking mile, and he also works harder than anyone else I can see on the pitch. So he complains a lot. He could be a little negative, but I think his work ethic is so much higher than anyone else that it almost justifies it. Maybe he's not the right captain. I don't know. The whole thing is that's a poison chalice too. We haven't had a good captain since
No, he's
Mourinho.
not. He's a great player, not a captain.
No, probably not.
That's it. Hey, look, I like Bruno. He's
but he's never hurt. He's never hurt.
But here's
so
here's the deal. Here's the deal. He works hard, but the team doesn't work hard, so it's kind of worthless. You know what I'm saying? I see him kind of running around.
No one else is.
Don't know where he's playing, running around all the time. Yeah, he's working hard for sure. And when you're in person, it comes across even more. But the whinging is bad. The way he whinges to the ref, he's not. We're never getting a call just the way he, just because the refs don't like him because all he's just whinging. And then I saw him hit he's been really poor from corners too. You got to also say that he hit a really bad corner and he was yelling at other people. And he's got the Iberian Peninsula, sir. So it's he's got that passion.
But he is world class. He would make it into almost any team in the world. He would. He's the best player on the team by a mile.
I would say the 18 months after we signed him, I would say, it depends. It depends.
His chance creation is a mile ahead of anyone else in global football.
Yeah. I understand the chance creation argument, but I'm going to say, if you say world class, I'm thinking Messi, Ronaldo, Haaland.
Ronaldo plays
Mbappe,
in Saudi Arabia, and Messi plays in Miami.
But think of the names I'm talking about.
No, those guys are
fine. Ronaldo's not world class.
De Bruyne. De Bruyne is probably the best 10 right now in the world.
It's De Bruyne, Haaland, right? And Mbappe, and probably Jude Bellingham is knocking on the door. Those are the guys. And do I think Bruno Fernandes was on that list? Is he on the list now? Top 10, top 15? It's falling down the list playing in a shit United side, unfortunately. But this team's not good enough for him.
No,
I agree. He should be playing at Real Madrid or Barcelona.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes, but That's an interesting one. That's a really interesting one because I'd like to see him scoring goals. There was no better time. There was no better time than when he was just ripping, bro. Hopefully we get that back sometime this year, sir. Won't bet on it. At Fairway Freddy, front three did well. Middle three, a combination of 2 Old and 2 Bruno. Back five are shocking at times, and the front line may be okay. We all knew Spurs would score. Can you believe Manchester United have an owner who cares for the club at last? Viva la revolution. Look, I think that's a great theme. Ratcliffe's there. Do you think this is the beginning of the end of the misery, or do you think we're set for more?
Both those things can be true at the same time. Beginning of the end could be like a 3-year process. So I think this is like the beginning, the beginning of the beginning, but like it's a long road. And like you said, the league has never been more competitive, and the messes, every part of Manchester United, maybe bar the academy, is a disaster. So it's like, it's going to take a while, but the only thing gives me hope. If it was fucking Joel Glazer and those 2 idiots, you want to know why they fired Ralph Rangnick? Because they're such idiots that they don't even want to hear what they don't want to hear, if you get my drift. It's like they don't want to hear negative shit. And smart motherfuckers who build top-tier organizations surround themselves with people who tell them what they don't want to hear, but what they need to hear. And they're like, wow, this guy's negative, man. We should get rid of him. If we had kept Rangnick, we would be in such a better spot than having John Murtaugh on those fucking ears, making us look like a bunch of fools. So we need to be honest with where we're at, and we're a mess, and the only way we're going to get better is by just looking at ourselves in the mirror and being like, we got to start over.
Got to start over. That is the theme here. The Phoenix rise from the ashes, sir. That is it. That is the podcast. Some pod therapy for you today. A draw against Tottenham Hotspur. Look, if you like the Muppet Take, you want to support the podcast, check out our Patreon page, patreon.com/AmericanRedDevils, AmericanRedDevils.com. At AmericanDevils.store, grab some merch, support the podcast, tell a friend if they like United. Look, we love this game, love this club, and you know what? When you're just, I feel like we're in the woodshed, sir, just getting it this season. But we're still here. We're still here. We're not giving up. Never say die. EFL Cup champs, baby.
There you go.
Let's go.
There you go.
EFL Cup champs until they crown a new one. I'm holding on to that. Let's go.
Yeah, we're the holders.
Cup, baby.
We're the holders, baby.
Let's go. EFL Cup champs,
all right,
baby.
What we got? What else we got?
Top 10 downloads last 7 days.
Let's go. Number 1, how you doing? Dublin, Ireland, LA, California, Washington, D.C., Chicago, Illinois, Brooklyn. You know where it is. Melbourne, Australia, Atlanta, Georgia, New York, Houston, Texas, and last but not least, Orlando, Florida. Thank you to all the American Red Devils who listen week in, week out. We couldn't do it without you. Always darkest before it's pitch black. Woo! Sir, I appreciate you. Great pod. I feel way better. Pod therapy. Speaking of which.
Wait. We didn't talk about Benzema coming in.
Sir.
Is Benzema going to save us?
No, nobody's going to save us. That whole fallacy that a player is going to save us, even a coach is going to save us, even an owner is going to save us. It takes an army. I would take him. I would take him all day. If it's the bill, over the hill, but used to be world-class player, come in for last licks at United. Hey, it couldn't hurt. I mean, Martial is completely worthless. And Højlund, it would be really good for Højlund's development to learn under another world-class striker. I mean, he didn't get any time with Ronaldo. But him with 6 months of Benzema, it certainly wouldn't hurt his development. So I'd be for it just for that.
Honestly, he'd look good in a red shirt.
He would. That beard, bro. I love that fucking beard.
I know that just for men beard. He's a mean dude. Dude, mean. I think we need to get back to that.
Yes,
I think we need to get back to we need a manager who's a little crazier, and we need mean dudes. All right, sir. Let's wrap this podcast up. What do we got for a song?
Every single one of us loves Alex Ferguson. Have a great week, everybody. We'll talk to you guys next time.